I'll confess. Here's how it is in my truck.
Okay.
I've got this "What would you like to listen to" button. And when I hit it, Siri pops on and she goes, "What would you like to listen to?" To which I respond, "Listen, woman, what I want to hear is some Def Leppard." And she plays it.
Right.
Because she's a good woman.
Right.
She does what I demand. And you know what frustrates me?
Is that you can't get away with that in your real household?
Yeah.
This case should never have come to trial.
I don't think it's fair to call my clients frauds. Because one time I turned into a dog and they helped me. Thank you.
Your Honor, we would like to withdraw our plea of not guilty and enter a plea of guilty.
This trial is a travesty. It's a travesty of a mockery, of a sham, of a mockery, of a travesty, of two mockeries, of a sham.
If we are to have faith in justice, we need only to believe in ourselves.
And the truth shall set you free!
How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Oh, guilty, but with a real good excuse.
I think the truth will come forth.
You can't handle the truth!
Scribble, scrabble, dabble on the microphone, I babble. Hello, everybody. It's time for more Law Light, brought to you by Foreman, Watson, Holtree, FWHlegal.com. Today we are at the High-Rise White Brick.
I thought you had that speech impediment fixed.
High-Rise White Brick Edifice at 530 Frederica Street. We are not in the library conference room studio.
We're going original gangster today.
We are. We're back in my office today because that is a war room in there.
Yeah, it is.
Preparing for trial. And
Is part of your war room, is that what's in the office on John, what used to be John's desk? I don't even know if that's still John's desk.
What? Where?
I don't know. There's like a bunch of, there's like two totes and some stuff on the.
That's
Maybe
John's,
that's John's
trial stuff because John has a trial too.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the things I was thinking about, perhaps having Davin on as a guest today or John, but neither of them are here yet. John's in court at 8:30. Davin's on his way here from Madisonville.
Those losers.
Both of them are teeing one up next week. I'm going to be going to the trial with Davin. I've helped him prepare for it some. I don't want to get into the facts of it because, but I'm telling you, it is, in 26 years of doing this, like, it's the most unique case I've ever tried or been a part of, and I have no idea how the jury is going to respond. When the trial is over, we will make it the subject of a podcast.
Okay,
Do you even know anything?
No, I don't know anything
about it?
about. I am so unbelievably intrigued right now that it kills me. That
I will give you. This is all I'll tell you. It has nothing to do with a car wreck. It has nothing to do with medical malpractice. It has nothing to do with a business litigation. It has nothing to do with products liability. But it does involve outrageous conduct. But I do not want to take a chance of discussing anything about it beyond that.
I'm still thoroughly intrigued. I can't wait.
I'll tell you a little bit about it when we go off today. And then
will it be good for Halloween? Just right around the corner.
No. So I'm not even going to answer that. But anyhow, so John Bennett is going over to Muhlenberg County next week and trying a criminal case. Actually, the client is a family member of one of our staff members, so John's going to go over there and do that. I think his trial is Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Davin and I go to Hancock County, and our trial starts Monday. We have Tuesday off. The judge needed Tuesday off, and so ours will be Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This week has been scrambling and, all kinds of stuff to get ready for that. Good experience for those two to be able to get in there and fight one out, and we'll see what the outcomes are.
Is Davin nervous?
I think he is. I mean, I think the closer you get, the more nerves you'll see.
Right.
I told Davin, I was like, look, you're going into this a whole lot better prepared than I went into my first one. First of all, I'm there with him. My first one, I went in and I was by myself, and it was 5 days after I took the bar exam. I had no idea how to try a case, but I tried it. I literally had a twin sister suing her twin brother for an injury that she suffered when at his house. Now you think about that for a minute. I got a verdict. I got her a verdict for falling through his floor.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, it was a crazy case.
Like, did she go down into the basement?
No, like the subfloor.
Okay, I was thinking like a money pit kind of.
Broke both of her ankles, though.
That'll take you off your feet for
You
a
ready
while.
for this? The theme. You know how I always theme my cases? Mm-hmm. Hold on to your chair, because this is what my theme was for my first trial.
I can't wait.
The hidden hole hurt her. Intriguing.
Yeah.
I hope my theme for this next case
This can be the title of my next movie.
Hidden Hole Herder.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be You remember the name of your next movie, Slaughtery.
Yeah. Oh, the
the
slaughter.
lottery.
Well, technically, it's New Year's Eve, but we got to get through funding first.
Yeah, if anybody has a couple extra shiny pieces laying around, PJ needs it to produce his movie.
Yeah, we're up to $11,300 right now.
And you need about 90,000 more?
No, well, our goal that we're trying to reach on Indiegogo, which is a crowdfunding site, we're looking at 30,000, but technically we need about 40 because we're bringing in some Hollywood professionals, and that's going to cost us a little over 10 grand to get them in. 30,000 is just to make the movie. And then we have somebody else. Eric and I ended up having this past Sunday like a 2-hour phone conference with someone who's going to be coming onto the movie as a producer. They've already committed to the project, but we can't say who it is yet. They're a Hollywood player. I'm pretty excited about it. Hopefully they can potentially bring some funding to the project. We'll see.
I'm wanting to know who that was.
I'll tell you after, but I'll announce it on one of the later podcasts. Well, he has to talk to his agent and his manager before we can go.
Oh,
official.
he's important. He has an agent and a manager.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's part of the Producers Guild. He's in SAG, Writers Guild. Yeah, he's a part of all those fancy schmancy Hollywood associations.
Woody. All right. Well, maybe picking him up will pick up some funding.
Maybe.
Put a little oomph behind it. So,
but if anybody listening wants to help, you can get on the ground floor of this. You can give $1, but if you do anything from like $10 over, you get something for your contribution. So you're not just like throwing money at us and not getting anything out of it.
Okay. What do I get? Toothpick?
Depends on what you go in at.
Well, what's a $10 gift?
$10 gets you a special thanks in the ending credits of the movie, and you get an IMDb credit, which is Internet Movie Database.
Well, that would be my first credit.
There, see? You got to start somewhere. So go to Indiegogo.com and type in New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. A little plug for the movie
Shamelessly.
and the fundraising. I came into this podcast today expecting that Davin was going to be a guest and we were going to talk about what he really felt like going into his first trial.
Right.
But like I said, he was already in court doing something this morning, so he got a little off track. So it's you and I, and which it's been many times. I mean, we have handled this alone many times. So you, as you walked through the door, said you were pulling a Travis on me, right?
Yes.
And by that you meant,
which is the second time,
you have something you want to talk about that I have no idea what it is.
Right.
And you're itching, literally itching to talk about it. And
I think people get,
the scruffy.
Yeah.
And so you got a topic.
Yeah, it's kind of a serious topic. It kind of depends on. It's kind of an eye roll topic.
Well, without further ado, bust it out, buddy.
We'll get into it. So, depending on what type of person you are, it could be a hot button topic. It could be a triggering kind of a topic. But it's something that I have always been curious about. And finally, yesterday, I got the opportunity to ask said question about the topic. So I'm not going to name any names, except for when I say this is what I said or whatnot. But anyway, so someone posted on Facebook. They said, new pet peeve. Unlicensed, in quotes, men trying to mansplain mortgage to me like I haven't been in the industry for 13 years and know what I'm talking about. What I've always been curious about with
Can
this.
you read that one more time?
Unlicensed men trying to mansplain.
No, wait. It's this person saying this is a new pet peeve?
A new pet peeve,
new pet peeve. So they have other pet peeves.
Right, but this is the brand new one.
This is the newest pet peeve.
There's several peeves that have been petted in their life.
Okay.
All up to this point.
Gotcha.
Unlicensed, in quotes, men trying to mansplain, also in quotes, mortgage to me like I haven't been in the industry for 13 years and know what I'm talking about. Now, I get what she's saying. My confusion, what is the purpose of the phrase mansplain? And this is where I finally was like, you know what? I'm just going to ask. So I jumped on here and I said, I have a serious question about this topic. I've been wondering this for a while. What's the difference between mansplaining and explaining? It seems like to me mansplaining is only a thing when it's the opposite sex and someone who annoys you or you don't know explains something. But I never see someone say they've been mansplained to by a friend. It's just considered explaining. I have women explain things to me all the time, and I never say I'm being womansplained to, even when it's someone annoying. I seriously don't understand what the difference is. Then they said, typically it's the tone in which it's given. Women can womansplain things too, typically when it's done condescendingly and comes off sexist in tone, in the way they deliver it. It would be considered being mansplained to me as though I'm a woman, so I couldn't possibly have the correct answer. Hope that helps. I said, I guess that's my other confusion. I said, it's just someone being condescending. Doesn't creating the assumption it's sexist simply because it's a man talking to a woman inherently make the idea of saying mansplaining a sexist act in itself, when really the issue at hand is not about the person being male or female, but the way they're talking, which is the whole purpose of the word condescending being created in the first place. If I can mansplain for a moment, I guess all I'm saying is I feel like a man can be condescending to a woman and a woman can do the same to a man without it being sexist. That just makes them an asshole. Well, then somebody jumped on here, and once again, I won't say who it is, but they said, PJ, also womansplaining is not a thing, in my opinion, and this writer's. And then they sent me an article. I said, so there is mansplaining, but not womansplaining. And then they said, mansplaining is sexist when the man is assuming the woman doesn't already know the thing. Also factoring in is the patriarchal society we live in. I will say this person, her and I have kind of gotten into it before. I said, so if I assume a woman doesn't know how to do something, it's automatically sexist just because I'm a man and she's a woman. At this point, asking a very logical question. Mm-hmm. She came back with, that article has good information on mansplaining. I'm sure it can be confusing when it doesn't happen to you. While I agree with her on certain topics that what she just said is true, here's the problem with that answer. You're assuming that I just don't know. So rather than explaining yourself, you're like, just go read this article. So now you're not even taking the time to explain or womansplain. So at first I was like, I'm not going to read your stupid article. That was my initial thoughts. And then I wanted to come back when she said, I'm sure it could be confusing when it doesn't happen to you. My response was going to be, so what you're saying is there's mansplaining, but not womansplaining. So you're admitting there's something a woman can't do. That was going to be my initial response, kind of a smart ass response. But then I didn't do that because I'm needing funding for this movie and I want to stay in some people's good graces.
You may have already cut about $5,000 out.
Then, you know what? Then I thought, you know what I am going to do? I am going to read this article because I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe my perspective is off. Maybe I can learn something from this article. Maybe it will give me new insight onto this and answer my question that this person couldn't answer because they just wanted to throw an article at me.
Right.
So I went into it with, velvet colored eyes or whatever that phrase is.
Rose-colored glasses.
Rose-colored glasses. Maybe I'll learn something from this, but I didn't. It's exactly what you think it would be. A bitter, angry woman talking about how men are bad.
There you go.
That's all it was.
It didn't help you any.
Not at all. So after reading the article, this was my response.
Gosh, here we go.
I said, I just read the article. It literally explained my 20-year marriage where I was condescended to and treated unfairly by a woman. I'm far from perfect, but I would never assume you're ignorant based on an inability, shortcoming, or simply just not knowing. I've never told a woman to smile to look pretty. I've never told a woman what to wear or to get in the kitchen. My current girlfriend, Leslie, is strong and successful, more successful than I am, and that's fine. If she wants to pay for a date, I let her. That article literally womansplained to me how my sex is the villain based on an opinion, which I'm guessing is her personal experience. It's sad she's become angry and bitter from the men in her life. Earlier you said it's confusing when it doesn't happen to you, but it did happen to me. But I'm not blaming all women because I have negative personal experiences with one. It would be unfair to all women who aren't that way, and I would be wrong. Just like anyone who lumps all men into the same category are wrong. No response.
Because you sent it like 20 minutes before the podcast.
Over 10 hours ago, thank you.
Observations about this. Number one, can you go back to the part where you first asked her what, like I think your first response was, hey, just an honest question. What in the heck is mansplaining anyway? Can you give me her response, please?
Typically, it's the tone in which it's given. Women can woman-splain things too. Typically, when it's done condescendingly and comes off sexist in tone, the way they deliver it, I would consider it being mansplained to me as though I'm a woman, so I couldn't possibly have the correct answer. Hope that helps.
I mean, like it's almost exactly what the Google definition for mansplaining is. So
Right.
I think that she Googled it before she responded, which shows an insecurity on her behalf.
Now that was the original posters. The other person that was like, there is no woman-splaining. That's a whole different person.
Okay, but still, just so we're kind of looking on both sides of this bad
Right.
boy. Mansplaining is defined. One definition is the explanation of something by a man. Okay, so that's fairly obvious by the just mansplain.
Right.
Typically to a woman, so that leaves open the possibility that you can mansplain to a man.
True. That's why I mentioned woman-splaining.
Right. But still, typically to a woman, that means that atypically it can be to a non-woman.
Right.
Can you mansplain to a dog?
You'd be human-splaining at that point, right?
Right. Here is the qualifier.
Okay.
In a manner regarded, let's check the word regarded for a second,
Okay.
as condescending or patronizing. Regarded by the hearer of the explanation. It's through their filter. So if you have a person that's predisposed to reading articles by other people that are predisposed to reading these right?
Right.
And you know where she stands from a position of women, the sexist slant on everything she looks at.
Right.
She's probably going to have a lot more sensitivity in considering what is condescending or patronizing.
Even with that, if it's a man explaining something to a man, you're not mansplaining. You're just being condescending or patronizing.
That's exactly right.
But the only difference here is that it's because
They've
it's
made
coming
from a man.
They've made it a sexist
They have.
situation
That's the
by
point I'm getting
saying,
to.
I'm a woman and I feel like you're being condescending, so I'm going to point out the fact that it's because you're a man and I'm assuming, you assume that I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm a woman, therefore you're mansplaining,
Well,
which is sexist in itself.
I mansplain all the time to Siri. I just wanted to, I'll confess. Here's how it is in my truck.
Okay.
I've got this "What would you like to listen to" button, and when I hit it, Siri pops on and she goes, "What would you like to listen to?" To which I respond, "Listen, woman, what I want to hear is some Def Leppard." And she plays it.
Right.
Because she's a good woman.
Right.
She does what I demand. And you know what frustrates me?
Is that you can't get away with that in your real household?
Yeah. Exactly. There is no mansplaining in my house. I can tell you that.
Oh, I know.
Like if I explain and it's not acceptable, I know it's not acceptable. And I know it really quick.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just tell you that until you read this, I had never heard the word mansplaining. Ever. Never heard it. Never heard it.
Welcome to the world of Triggered.
But I now know more about it than I want to. But you know what I get accused of more than, I guess, mansplaining? Nobody's ever told me you're a mansplainer.
Right. What's that?
Lawyer-splaining.
Like to other attorneys?
No,
or?
no. Non-attorneys. Quit talking to me like a lawyer. I hear that. Now, they don't say it's lawyer-splaining, but that's what they say. They're
Well,
like,
that's coming.
Right. That's right. You
Better
know,
get on
quit-
Urban Dictionary and
quit
put it up there now.
treating me like you're cross-examining me. My kids were good at that. Say, "Dad, quit being a lawyer." Well, I need to know. So I only know one way to go about finding out. And it's the way that I am in cases, right? Anyway, I think your points are well taken. Okay, I think that this word has come about for the sole reason of
Trying to keep the man down.
exploiting men. I mean, I have watched female lawyers in courtrooms get treated terribly. And I have seen in the business world women not treated fairly and talked down to because they are female. And that is absolutely wrong. It's not acceptable. They are human beings. We are human beings. However, when we go to the point of saying, a person has mansplained something to me, I think that that's tiptoeing over the... Here's the problem. If you were to... what was this even over, about mortgages or something?
Yeah, the poster just felt like she was being condescended to, that whoever this individual was that was talking to her like she didn't know what she was talking about when she did.
The problem is let's say the person took the opposite approach. This person says, "I know you probably know this. because, you're pretty sharp at what you do. But I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page, and then went on to explain whatever it was about the mortgage, right? Then they'll say, don't treat me like a woman. Like, don't try to soften this. I'm not soft. You know what I'm saying? So when you go out of your way to say, hey, I'm sure you got this because like you're sharp,
right? And
you like you're being honest about, and then you say it. Then the response is, you don't have to be soft with me. I'm just because I'm a woman doesn't mean you see what I'm saying? I think that's the opposite of mansplaining. That is going opposite because you don't want to get ridiculed for mansplaining, and so you go the opposite. Then you get accused of, come on, treat me like a
Yeah, see, this is my problem with the society that we live in now. There's one end, and then there's the other end, and then there's everybody else who's in the middle. One end are people who legitimately are like that. They go, I'm a man, I'm better than a woman. Woman, you should be in your place. And they're racist. There are people who are racist blacks, there's racist whites, there's racist Hispanics. There's sexist females. There's sexist males. They do treat other people and put people through those situations that are legitimately sexist or legitimately racist or whatever the scenario is, right? All these types of people exist, and they're over here. Then you have this end down here where it's no matter what is happening, these people are always the victims somehow. And regardless of what the situation is, they're going to make it known whatever their agenda is, even if it doesn't play into the situation. And I'll use this as an example because this happened to me. One time when I was working at FYE, like we had this buyback thing where people would bring in games or movies or whatever, and we would say, okay, you get this much, you could do cash or store credit, right? This guy brings in a stack of games, and I'm sitting there, going through them, and they're horribly taken care of. I mean, they're just scratched up. I mean, it's bad. And I'm going through it, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, and of course, I'm not saying that, but in my mind, like, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I can't really take this one. And I finally look over at Brent, who's the manager, and I go, Brent, I really think maybe you need to take over this because, I am, as a horrible way to start, I was going to say I'm a Nazi when it comes to, I'm like scratch and stuff. Like, if I let you borrow something and you give it back to me and it's got a scratch on it, you're buying me a new one. I didn't give it to you like that. So I'm not the right kind of person to sit there and say, well, I don't know, because even if it has one little scratch, I'm against it. So I'm asking Brent if he wants to do it, and Brent goes, man, I'm really busy. You just gotta look at these games and you gotta ask yourself, would I buy this? And I go, man, I wouldn't buy any of these. And the guy looks at me and goes, what, you're not going to buy my games because I'm black? And I looked at him and I went, what? And he goes, you're not going to buy my games because I'm black? And I said, no, I'm not going to buy your games because you've been throwing them around your living room. And he kind of looks at me and he goes, you trying to say I can't take care of my stuff because I'm black? And I'm like, why are you asking me if you're black? I was like, I know you're black, but why are you asking me all these questions about me not wanting to take your games because you're black? I was like, this has nothing to do because of your race. But he just kept throwing it at me. Mm-hmm. And by the time the situation was over with, I was like, I'm pretty sure I was just the victim of racism, but like reverse racism.
He pushed that as the reason.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like, you're not going to take my stuff because I'm black. Every card he had, he was throwing it at me at every opportunity he got. And I'm sitting there going like, no, it has nothing. I don't care that you're black. So it's like, that's the kind of person I'm talking about, you know? And I think this is kind of a similar situation. It's like, just because she's a woman, she's a victim because that was a man. It has nothing to do with whether or not she was really mansplained to or anything like that. Or at least maybe not even the poster, but the person who commented later by coming back and saying, well, because we live in a patriarchal society. I mean, that right there is throwing out such a broad blanket of victimization. Were women treated horribly at one time? Absolutely. Does it still happen occasionally now? Yes. I mean, look at how many successful, strong women there are out there. When you sit there and talk about how we live in this patriarchal society and that women are held down, yeah, maybe you are, but look at all these super successful women. You're crapping on them and all the successes and the accomplishments they've made. It's like, don't lump them into your unhappy group.
Your mansplaining group.
That's right. Am I mansplaining right now?
No, they're mansplaining group. You know, I've got an answer. Mm-hmm. Just delete Facebook off your phone.
Well, you know, that's the simple answer.
It is.
Now, see, I normally don't get caught up in situations like that, but
it's not good when you're in fundraising. I mean,
no, and I wasn't going to I don't feel like I came at them aggressively. I mean, at first I had the knee-jerk reaction of wanting to be kind of a smarty pants with a response. And then I thought, you know what? I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to read the article and I'm going to give an educated response based on what she was saying. Hey, I can't respond back to you, but I'm giving you the opportunity to respond to me based on what, how I feel or whatever the case may be.
Just in case we still have a couple listeners left.
All the men are going to keep listening.
We're going to end the podcast with a little lighter topic.
A law lighter topic.
A law light topic. Lighter. I don't know the exact wording of this, but on Facebook, there was someone that says, what little thing do you do in secret that it's not terrible? You do it in secret and you kind of feel bad about it when you do it. I read some of them. They were funny. It was like one guy said, I trim my toenails he goes, until I throw them away, I keep them in my mouth. And I was just like, this is terrible, right? He goes, that's my little secret. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm feeling pretty good about myself.
Gross.
I started thinking about that. I think I've put my finger on the thing that I do and say, like the thing I do in secret, nobody will ever know, but I do it. And I feel bad about it when I do it. And I'm going to confess it right here on podcast.
Okay.
When I go to Chick-fil-A for my family and I'm driving home, I always eat fries out of their thing.
But not the one you plan on keeping?
As soon as I get home, I pull out the fries like, okay, this is yours, and this is mine. And I get 4 or 5 extra fries that way.
Oh, yeah.
That's my dirty little...
I do that too.
Do you feel bad about it?
No.
You don't?
No.
I do.
But I do it.
I do feel bad about it. I'm like, everybody is entitled to have the same amount of fries.
Well, here's the thing. Did you pay for it or was it collectively paid for?
I feed my family. Okay.
Right.
But my thing is,
those are your fries.
Yeah. Are they? I've done it forever. Mm-hmm. Like I have probably
Frynapped.
I have Frynapped probably thousands of fries in my lifetime.
That definitely puts you on the FBI's least wanted list.
So anyway, I wanted to confess that because I didn't respond on the Facebook thing. But I've been thinking a lot about it. It's like, what do I do? In secret, like that, I feel really bad about, and that's it. There's my confession. That's my Facebook confession.
It's really not that bad. I don't know why you feel bad about that.
I mean, look, I put myself in this shoes. What if I sent one of the kids?
Right. I mean, it's a form. I guess it is a form of dishonesty.
It is.
Somewhat.
If I sent my kids to pick up dinner and they ate like half my fries on the way home.
Did you pay for it?
Number one, I would know. I would say, you Frynapped.
Right.
I know that game. You're not going to beat me at my game, kiddo. Give me your fries.
I can spot a box of lesser fries.
Now, to tell you the truth, though, I did also see if you order the medium or the large fry at McDonald's, they both hold the same.
I've heard the same thing about their drinks. Okay, so with the drinks, the medium cup is the same size as a large cup, but the difference is that the medium is shorter but wider, where the large is taller
and narrow,
but more narrow. So if you take a medium drink and pour it into the large cup, it's the same amount.
That may be true, but I do know the fries. So don't order large fries if you're wanting large fries. You're getting mediums.
Yeah.
If you want more fries, really get the XL. Go biggie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love McDonald's fries.
They're good. Would you Frynap those fries?
I would. I would Frysplain all about those fries.
All right. Well, it's been an interesting episode of Law Light. Back in our own
stomping
grounds back here in my office. I want to say good luck to Davin and John next week. And to all of you who believe you're being mansplained to, just chill. It'll be okay.
Just don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Just say, quit explaining things to me in a condescending way. Just call it what it is.
You're being patronized to, and just move on.
And then if that doesn't work, go out to your car and talk to Siri however you want, because it's liberating.
Yeah, go be mean to technology.
Until next time, this has been Law Light, brought to you by Foreman, Watson, Holtry, FWHlegal.com. We appreciate all of our listeners, all of our clients, and if we can ever help you with a legal need, be sure to find us 270-4-INJURY or FWHlegal.com.
This case should never have come to trial.
I don't think it's fair to call my clients frauds. Because one time I turned into a dog and they helped me. Thank you.
Your Honor, we would like to withdraw our plea of not guilty and enter a plea of guilty.
This trial is a travesty. It's a travesty of a mockery of a sham, of a mockery of a travesty of two mockeries of a sham.
If we are to have faith and justice, we need only to believe in ourselves.
And the truth shall set you free!
How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Oh, guilty, but with a real good excuse.
I think the truth will come forth.
You can't handle the truth!